All right, so we look at this and I go, that something's not right, okay? Oh, the problem, we start with this. Move down. We start with pi over 2 minus x in my quantity. And I look at it and I go, well, that's not in the right order. Do you guys agree with that? That's not in the right order. I need my phase shift to be at the end because the phase shift determines how many units to the right or to the left. And it's always a pi or a pi over 4 or a pi over 3. It's always something. So I've got to switch that thing around. Now, algebraically, I know that the negative symbol, the negative sign, the minus x, that negative goes with the x if I switch it around. Do you guys agree with that? Y'all know that too. So I'm going, okay, well, I'm getting closer. But I still don't have positive 1 here, right? And I've got to have positive 1 there. So algebraically, how can I make that happen? I'm going to take out a negative 1. So look what I end up with. Bless you. Now, or let me write that so it'll look a little bit nicer. Okay, now hold on. Hold on, though. It's not minus that quantity. It's that quantity times negative 1, okay? It's this. It's that quantity. I've got to throw the 1 in there. I've got to have it there just for explanation purposes. So I'm looking at it, and I'm solving, and I find the reflection, and I find that it's none. Do you guys agree with that? Okay. I'm going through, and I'm finding my amplitude to be what? 1. Absolute value of 1. And I get here to the period, and I'm figuring it out. 2 pi divided by that number that I just factored out. And I go negative 2 pi. How many of you had that? Because I did the first time I did it. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Let's think about what that is. What is the period? According to my calculation, it is negative 2 pi. But not what's the value. If you had to define the period of a sine or cosine curve, what is the period? It's the length of the curve. And I want you to write this down, okay? It's the length of the curve. And you can put it within your homework problem. The period is the length of the curve. Now I want you to look at it again. Lengths, distances cannot be negative. So that's when I went, uh-oh, okay? So I had to go back and I had to pull out books and start reading. And I had to ask Dr. G and I had to ask Ms. Wallace. And I said, what's this? What is this? Something's not right. I don't know how to figure it out because I got to be able to explain it to y'all. So after looking at it and looking at the definition of period, and it's in your textbook. I think it's maybe on page 140. But the definition of period says that it's 2 pi over k, which is a new variable from this textbook, and I'm sure my notes are from an old textbook, where k is greater than 0. Okay? So by the definition, then what do I have to totally do to this negative symbol? I just have to disregard it. And I have to make sure that it's positive. Okay? Because of that definition, the period becomes positive. Okay? And it just has to do with that definition, and I think it is on, which makes sense because period can't be, it's on page 136. Okay? Yeah, but you can't just take it out. You know, and that's what I was saying. Because in my head, I'm going, how do we work around this? It did give you the right answer. And I had somebody second block go, but here's my graph. Is it right? And I said, yeah, it's right. But you just happened upon the correct answer because you just kind of kicked that negative to the curve without realizing why, okay? So you guys know in geometry it's all about explaining why, right? How come we can just disregard this negative symbol? It's because of that definition where K, which we called B in our original notes, cannot be. It has to be a positive number. K greater than 0 means that it has to be a positive number. Is that explained to you in a manner you can accept? Yeah? So, do we go about our problem the normal way now? Yeah, the problem doesn't change. We have fixed the period. It's where it needs to be. We have our curve. We got to finish this. Okay, this was like a side note right here. Just kind of a sidebar. What do we do now? Interval. So the interval is still going to be 1/4 times the period, which is 2 pi, which ends up being pi over 2, right? What's the phase shift? What is the phase shift? Right pi over 2. And then vertical shift. Was there a vertical shift? No, there was nothing tacked on to the tail end of that function. And if you look in your book, I don't know if it's your textbook or if you were to look this up online, it may put, y'all know how the vertical shift sometimes is in the front? You may find general equations where it's in the front. I like it to be at the back. And that's just an algebra thing of being able to move it. But if there is no vertical shift, folks, where's the oscillation line? The x-axis. So see, you know this already. You get this. And then we're going to go about our business just like normal, okay? So we come over here to the side. I usually do on the right, okay? And I go with my compound inequality, which always starts at 0. My parentheses is x minus pi over 2. And what was the period? 2 pi. And then we go about our business just like always. Okay? And we get pi over 2 greater than or equal to x greater than or equal to 5 pi over 2. And this is another one. How many of you would still do beginning plus next equals, or beginning plus interval equals next? Or how many of you would just see the pattern? How many of you see the pattern? Okay, if you see the pattern, and we're starting at 1, how many critical points are there? 5. The first one's going to be 1/2. If the last one's 5/2, how am I going to step this off? Because they're equally spaced. It's the same interval. It's 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2, isn't it? Do you see that? 2 pi over 2 would be pi. 3 pi over 2 is 3 pi over 2. 4 pi over 2 will really be 2 pi. So I've tried to cut down on my work a little bit, right? And now, do I have enough information? I've done all this work. Do I have enough information to graph it? Yes. Now I have enough information. And this page is going to be 14 feet long. Let's see what I can do over here. Was there a no vertical shift? Phase shift to the right, so it's going to be heavy on the right side. My oscillation line is the x-axis. What was the amplitude, folks? 1? Oh, that's good. There it is. And my critical points, pi over 2. pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, 5 pi over 2. Right on? And then which curve? Of course, at this point, what has Miss Perry done? I've done forgot which curve it is. It's cosine. Is it reflected? No, so it's an up cup. All right, so it's going to start here. It's going to end up here, yes? Where's my minimum value? 3 pi over 2. It's going to pass through those, the second and the fourth critical value. Boom. How many of you, did anybody have that? Did you say you happened upon it? Ann, is that what you had? Yeah. Okay. Questions on that? That's just one of those awkward problems. It's just kind of like, what? Because I scratched my head. I went through it, didn't even think about it. And then somebody said, well, if that's the length of the curve, how can it be negative? And I went, oh. So then I started studying. Questions at all? No? Okay. Do you have any questions at all before I give you your open note quiz?